Hey there, lovely ones, it's Rosie here, or I'll claim my name back as Rosanna, otherwise known as Rosie Glow. And I wanted to do a little empowerment video for givers. For givers, I like that, for giving. So really, are you a giver? Do you find that you are constantly giving and it seems like what you are giving out, the amount of energy that you're expending is far more than what you're getting back? This is very, very common amongst many empaths, many intuitive empaths, mothers, people in the caring profession. We're all tied up with our worth being about how much we give. Our self-worth, our worthiness, our sense of deserving is tied up with how much we give. And this goes way back to our childhood. This goes back to us being very clever children, realizing very early in our lives that in order to get the love and the approval that we seek from our families, even the attention, you might have come from a big family, then being the helpful one, being the one who anticipates the needs of others is going to be getting you a load of brownie points. It's going to be supporting you to get some praise, to get some of that good energy from the people that you look upon, so our God and Goddess, or our mother and father, or whoever is our primary caregiver, until we start picking holes in them, usually when we're teenagers. So yeah, that's kind of the basis of being a giver. But how do we move out of this space where we are constantly giving and we're getting very little in return? Well, we need to turn the dice, really. We need to turn the wheel the other way around, and we need to really look at why it is that we feel we need to give. So the overgiving is to do with approval, as we said, but it's also tied up with the fact that we feel that that is what makes us worthy of being loved. And I really want you just to hold that for a second, that your whole sense of being worthy of being loved is down to how much you give, how much you show up in the world and you give to others. You anticipate the needs of others. You put other people's needs before your own. It's very close to martyrdom. Now, mother's guilt is a foundational force for overgiving. And then we compensate from the overgiving by then getting very angry and reprimanding of our children. And you may have had that kind of parenting yourself. I certainly had that kind of mothering. And I know I've been guilty of it as a mother myself, because it's wired into our brains, it's hardwired into our conditioning. When we're in a stressful response, we're going to react the way that we were reacted to when we were young. And that's just the way it goes unless you actually do some work to clear your programming, to clear your subconscious memory, to reprogram your subconscious, and to start making different choices. I've made some notes because I don't want to lose this. So let's just ask the question, what's wrong with giving endlessly? Well, let's look at what's wrong with receiving. You know, what's wrong with you receiving? Why overgive? What's the benefit of giving? Well, if we're constantly pushing out, then we're never receiving in, right? We're never having to go, oh, actually, thank you for that, but I don't really like it. That doesn't really suit me. That doesn't quite work for me the way it is. Because overgivers, the last thing they want to do is then be known as complainers, right? So if someone does something for us, it's likely it won't be good enough. And why won't it be good enough? Because we're also control freaks. So we have a whole load of stuff tied up with being in control by being the one who gives, and therefore we don't have to deal with the issues that come from receiving. Okay, we can always point the buck again and go, but I've given you so much. Why don't you love me? I've given you so much. Why don't you understand? Why aren't you behaving the way that I want you to? So it becomes about control and manipulation. Really sorry to say that if you haven't thought about it this way before, but it's really important to look at this. I have documents about energy vampirism, and even the word puts people off, okay? Energy vampire, I don't like the sound of that. People can read through the list, and I promise you there won't be one person who doesn't have 1, 2, 3 of those habits going on. That essentially means this is how we steal energy from others. If we badmouth someone, we are stealing energy from them. We're projecting negative energy towards them, okay? In the giving and giving and giving, we're seeking approval, so we're actually taking again. That's a form of energy vampirism. So in the receiving, there's the discomfort in receiving. We are letting things in. Many of us who are givers have learned to just be really strong at protecting our inner world from anything that might come in, so we don't get hurt. So we put our energy, we focus outwards, we get all of our self-worth, as I said, based on how much praise we get in the world, or how much we anticipate our partner's needs or our children's needs, and they just take it for granted. In the end, they just take it for granted, and we feel like doormats, we feel resentful, we end up feeling like our efforts are not being appreciated. And you know what? They're not. And you know what? That's because you are not appreciating yourself. That is because we are not appreciating ourselves. We are not putting ourselves first. We are not saying, hold on a minute, I can give this much, but I can't give more than that. If I give more than that, that causes problems for me in what I'm doing now. And I know I could probably balance this over here and just string that together with that over there and tipple on this bit and just about be able to help you out. But the price to me is going to leave me in debt. And I'm sure when you're asking me for your help, you're not wanting me to be left in debt, are you? So we have an issue here with giving and boundaries as well. And this is about us respecting our own boundaries. This is about us being able to step up and go, hold on a minute. How am I showing up in the world? What is the shadow side of this nice glossy thing that I do that I get so much love and approval from? And what do I need to put in place in my life so I don't feel I need to overgive? What's wrong with overgiving is you block the receiving. If you block the receiving, then you're always going to be in a state of lack. If you're always in a state of lack, you trigger poverty consciousness, you trigger victim consciousness, you trigger the kind of perception in life that, you know, you're not important, your needs don't matter, you don't count, it's everyone else first, everyone else gets to have what they want and you don't get to have what you want. All of this goes back to early beliefs, okay? The conditioning that says, oh, I didn't get what I wanted, but everyone else got what they wanted. Oh, there's something wrong with me, so I must change the way that I am. And this comes back again to this whole thing about how we strategize being in the world to try and prevent the pain that we've experienced before being felt again. And you cannot prevent pain, okay? Be open to the world. Know that you can manage your pain. That is absolutely essential. When you look at managing your pain, then you know you can deal with life, okay? You can deal with what happens. You can open your heart to love. How many of us are givers in relationships because the taking, again, is so painful. The receiving is so painful. If I get used to receiving from this person and then they're not there anymore, I'm really going to feel a hole. I'm going to feel an emptiness. Well, guess what? You've already got that hole and that emptiness there because you're blocking the flow. So all you're doing is giving. You're not even in relationship. You're in a one-sided relationship. So what can we do about all of this? Well, recognizing an issue is the start of being able to change it. I would ask you to consider what your needs are. What are your needs that aren't being met? Also, what boundaries do you have in your life, if any? And where do you feel triggered by other people? So where do you feel that someone isn't respecting you? And how will you know that? You'll get angry. When you get angry, that's because a boundary of yours is being pushed. You might not even know there is a boundary there, but there is a boundary that is being pushed and you don't like it being pushed because you having that boundary pushed means you can't be the nice, fluffy, easygoing person that you like to present yourself out to be. You've got to show up and say, actually, that doesn't work for me. I'm not comfortable with that. That's not sitting well with me. We need to do something about this. Because that then seems like you're creating conflict, and that then can trigger the idea that you're rejecting or abandoning or betraying someone or something. And because the pain in you is so bad in terms of rejection, abandonment, betrayal and fear, anxiety, depression, judgment, that you don't want anyone to feel like that ever. So you're walking on eggshells, trying to make sure that you never ever make anybody feel the way that you feel. Well, again, you're trying to take people's pain away. You can't do that. The important thing is to learn to manage your own pain, live by example, and as a result of that, then be able to support others to learn how to manage their own pain. And that means having healthy boundaries. That means getting clear on what it is you feel you need. Get clear as well on what you feel the boundaries would be that are helpful for you. So for example, if you're like me, you're self-employed, your work is involved in caring for people, then there's got to be a cut-off point that you take phone calls. There's got to be a point at which you can't respond. That's family time. That is your goofing off time, which is essential, by the way. If you don't take relaxation time, you get ill. That's not like a nice to have. That is essential. So all of this stuff that I'm saying is just to give you a little bit of a window into where maybe you are not meeting your own needs, maybe where you are not respecting your own boundaries. And all of it will turn back up and in relation to how much reactionary you are to the world around you. Either you project out to other people in anger, or you suck it up, you take it into you and you feel resentful. Either one of those are unhealthy. So it's time. Well, they're healthy responses. Anger's a healthy response. I'm not sure taking things in is a healthy response. But what I'm saying to you is, if you find that you are getting resentful or you are getting angry, then it's a sign that you're not meeting your own needs and you're not respecting your own boundaries. And this all ties back into why we overgive, which is to do with deserving and approval and our childhood. So if you want to do more about this than just write down what your needs are and what boundaries you're not respecting, then please head on over to rosieglow.com. Check out the work I'm doing. I run an awesome program called Fearless, Empowered and Free to Be Me. And this is a program that deals with your subconscious and your conscious mind and brings you into congruence. It helps you to see where you're not showing up for yourself, and it supports you to show up for yourself and to see where there's a discrepancy between what you want, what you need, and what you're actually putting out there in the world and saying you want and need. You can, if you're interested in actually doing some coaching with me, then you can book a breakthrough call, and that will then let you know about the different coaching options I have. So there are options if you like the way that I'm talking, you like the way that I'm putting things forward, and you're liking my energy. If you want to work with me, there is a way. I also offer free meditations on the Rosie Glow Facebook page. At the moment, I'm offering free new moon and full moon meditations, but it will soon be the new moon meditation only. The full moon meditation will be part of a membership program that I'm setting up shortly. So all of this stuff you can be kept abreast with if you join the Rosie Glow mailing list. So I warmly welcome you to do that, to check out the site, to check out the Fearless, Empowered and Free to Be Me program. And I hope that you are feeling a little more empowered to look within you right now and to see how your outer world is mirroring your inner world, because that's all that's happening. When you actually show up for yourself differently, everything around you changes. Change your view of the world, change the view of yourself, and everything around you changes. Loads of love. Take care.